Hi, good morning, everyone. I have been given a mammoth task today to speak and share on my thoughts on a vast and intriguing topic of customer experience, and that too in 15 minutes. Right? But I'll try to do justice today to kind of share my views on how one should go about conquering a true customer experience initiative, and especially in these challenging times and exciting times for organizations. Before I go there, just to start on some positive note, there is some good news, right? Obviously, due to the pandemic, all the past predictions have been kind of derailed. But the good thing is, it's not the end, right? People are still going to buy, people are still going to have transactions, and the world is not ending. Businesses will still continue to run, and all those investments which they do on the market will be justified eventually, right? It's just that the brands, the way in which they interact with the customers have to be significantly different, significantly more digital. What we've been trying to do as CX leaders of late for so many years, thanks to COVID, it is happening now in matter of months now, right? And organizations who lack in modern sophistication as part of their marketing investments, which eventually perish, right? So you better get your act right in order to connect with your customers in much more effective, much more smarter way in going forward in 2021, right? Again, on similar lines, why customer experience matters, which is the topic of today. Typically a research, paper would publish and say in 2021, most of the customers, the customer experience rather reaches beyond marketing. It need not be restricted or constrained only to marketing, right? And when they do so, when experiences are cut across different objectives within an organization, it will matter even most post-COVID than it was even before the CX, the COVID impact. Right? It was around 38% back then, but post-COVID it has jumped now to almost 59% today. Right, and this is why we feel the market is doing the right thing. Because of these change and the paradigm shifts in the way people engage with the brands today, a lot of marketing, a lot of customer experience-led organizations, have to reimagine in the way they interact with the customers. And for this, what all changes you need to do, I'll try to cover that in my subsequent slides. Right? Having said this, again, it's a no-brainer. This is something which kind of resonates well with every individual, right? And we all understand this genetically. Humans are wired to remember the negative, right? This is why the negative customer experience can be so detrimental to a brand. And think about your own experience. How many times you have spoken something good about a brand to your friends and family versus a negative one? Statistically, I think it's about 3-1 for the negative, right? And people listen to negative more often than not, and give the more weightage to negative more than the positive. And this is the first thing you look at. Typically, I do that whenever I go to Amazon search for a product. I look for all those 1 stars and 2 stars and those comments, and then make my purchase. Right? This is a typical human tendency. And now, if this is the case, and if the customer experience is not managed, there is a high probability, almost as high as 72% of probability, that these negative sentiments of these people will spread like a wildfire in social media and take your good customers also away with that, right? So it is at the high time we look beyond a typical customer engagement and we start talking of customer experience in all the interactions we do with our customers. So research says, again, vast majority of our customers today feel that customer experience is more important than the price which they pay for, right? Almost 64% of people feel that way. But if that is the case, right, and if experience takes precedence over price, what are the organizations doing about it? Are they really geared up for that? Hardly 6% of customers today, at least the customers which we speak to, are on that journey, but they've just started, right? And they hardly have a full view or a complete view of customer experiences, and at least then know what the customers are intending to do and beyond, how do you engage with them, right? Moving forward, what is typically the challenge then? What is holding back the CX leaders in achieving the right thing or doing the right thing? Knowing all these stats and the research papers which we read, what is that you want to do? In my conversations, typically, the challenges which the marketers or the CX leaders face while shaping customer journeys is the first thing which comes up is wrangling with the customer data, right? It's always top of the line, right? 83% of these customers who want to translate this raw data or meaningful information or actionable insight typically struggle with that. Hardly 22% can actually do that, right? almost 73% wants to use all data that is available. Now, again, this is a nirvana state where every first-party customer data which is there out there, be it in your property, be it in third-party sites, you want to capture all of that and bring it in one single place and build that customer one view or customer centricity-based initiatives. But hardly anybody can achieve that. Or people have started doing that, but I would say it's a long way to go. Right. And same is the case with analytics. Once you have done all that data, what you do with those data points, how you use prediction, how you use forecast-based modeling to create a good forecast for you to eventually then engage with your customers in real time and in more meaningful contextual way. Right? Even then, data sources matters, right? Because eventually everybody wants to augment their existing data with new data sources. Now, if new data sources are not being made available through different, mediums, like be it sentiments from social media, video, or speech, only 90% can actually make use of that data, right? And so on and so forth for even uploading customer algorithms into your analytics frameworks. It doesn't help if you're not able to close loop what you have done and bring it all that intelligence back into your models. Eventually you will fall flat, right? So these are typical challenges in our experience when we speak to organizations where they fall really flat on their customer experience initiatives. So what is that which is holding them back, right? Traditionally, we've seen top three things. One, legacy systems. Again, we have seen so many times organizations having, and again, it is not their fault, I would say, how they have evolved over the period of so many years. They've invested in, say, traditional marketing tools, which help them run campaigns on SMS, email, call centers, the traditional channels. Over the years, then the moment they started going digital, they started investing on digital-only platforms, which were traditionally engaging customers on their website and mobile apps. But are these really engagements, or you're just tracking what the customers are doing through a not so great web analytics tool, right? So these legacy systems today, if they are working in silos, if they are not speaking to each other, typically in our experience, this is one of the biggest issues why people do not have that customer experience as they wanted, right? And I say data silos again, because these systems are different. They are not meant to wire with each other. Obviously, it will create data silos, right? The intelligence along with that data will again be silos. So for marketers or CX leaders to collate all this intelligence in one single place becomes an epitome of a requirement, right? Again, organizational silos. Again, the teams who manage these systems are also very different. There is a traditional marketing team, there is a digital marketing team, there is data science, there is IT. There are so many stakeholders, so many spokes in the wheel who run in a very different direction. And if that is the case, the CX is going to suffer, right? So unsurprisingly, as I said, the biggest challenges are these three. And today, I'll try to address very quickly. As I said, it's very limited time for me to cover such a topic, but I'll try to see in the next 5 minutes if I can help you with what you need to transform in your organization to address these biggest challenges, right? So the key focus areas in my view today for a true CX transformation, and typically we do this with our flagship product, which is CI 360 from a SaaS perspective, how we address all of these, or rather most of these key areas where we engage with our customer and transform them drastically. Of course, it starts from data. As I said, data becomes that fundamental stepping stone. Once you have different sets of data, you want to bring it all together and build that customer one view. Using that one view, you want to create magic out of it, create that data into insights, meaningful information using analytics. And using all of that, all the good work that you do as a base, you want to use that to create and orchestrate multi-channel, cross-channel customer journeys, right? And then eventually do all of this at a piece of your mind where you are ensuring that your data or your customer's data is kept in a location which is the most secured location and bases your choice and control, right? And of course, end of the day, it is all about how you do it from at a click of a button, or how easy it is for you to do. How are you dependent on IT? Are you dependent on some technical folks for you to be able to do that? If you struggle in each of these areas in some form, eventually CX will suffer. So let me go deeper into all of this one by one, right? When I talk of data, now, many of the times, as I said, a lot of people focus on digital, especially post-COVID. But the web analytics tools typically people engage with and have in their systems are only capturing few set of data. Are you able to capture granular level of customer level data, or is it just a visitor level clickstream data which you typically work upon? The quality of data also matters here, right? The data which you capture, when is this data made available, or in what format it is being made available? Can you straight away use this data into your offline streams? Can you club this data into your data warehouse data, your analytics data, and stitch the customer journeys and create a customer one view? You are able to do this. How quick are you able to do this? Does it take like 6 hours, 1 day, 24 hours for you to stitch offline and online journeys? Even the data which you get is in what format? Are you able to use it as is, or you need to do a lot of IT effort on top of that? You need to do ETL, ELT for that, to use that into analytics, to use that data into your reporting, or for stitching of offline data. So all these aspects really matter for a CX leader when it has to combine all of this and make sense out of it, right? Coming to one view, now again, consolidation of data becomes another important factor. Okay, you got your data, but then what? You have to stitch it in such a way that seamlessly in real time you can make use of this data and engage with your customers in the moment, right? So let's take a case of in the moment marketing. Now you don't want to personalize the customer's experience on a website when the customer comes to your website next time. You want to give him an offer right there while he's clicking some pages on your web page, right? If you need to do this, how would you do that? And again, these are not basis a limited set of attributes and KPIs. You want to do that basis the good old data warehouse data which you have collected over his transactions, over his analytics attributes. You want to combine all of this and then make recommendations, right? How do you manage real-time identity stitching? Was this the same customer who was a visitor who did not log in for the last 7 days, and now he has just logged in? How are you able to stitch all of this in real time is going to be the important factor. Again, this data is not just for marketing. Should be enterprise grade. It should be made available to all other organizations within a company, right? Be it your procurement, be it your risk, fraud, or other organizations within a company who should be able to use this data as downstream systems, right? Again, these are very, very critical aspects, how CI360 again addresses all of this in a seamless manner from one monolithic fabric, right? Analytics, again, SaaS being SaaS, I need not emphasize more on, especially in BFSI, we have seen this so heavily. People want to make sense out of it. And again, this is not a black box AI ML, which we are talking of. This is assisted AI, which we talk of now. We call it blue box analytics. The tool itself has capabilities to come and recommend to you what kind of segments you should run behind. If there is an unearthing of a new segment out of your 10 segments which you run, the system will recommend to you, okay, this is a new segment which I have identified basis the behavior of the customers on these touch points. Would you want to kind of run a campaign on these? The system will now, using AI ML capabilities, should be able to do this. Again, this becomes a big part of experimentation and AI driven CX transformation. Journeys, again, I mean, this is the most important factor, how you activate this data, engage with your customers on cross-channel, do experiments, test your hypothesis, and then do those hyper-personalized experiences across different touch points, and then all in from one single place, right? Privacy, again, BFSI has to be very, very finicky on, and this is what, again, because of our regulations, because of the very controlled nature of our country, and the ambiguities around data privacy, data security, and the data residency for that matter, biggest concerns today people have is, will my data be safe? Do I need to upload my customer data or my PII data onto an OEM's cloud? If I need to, will that be safe? Or can I upload all sorts of KPIs and attributes? If not, am I making a compromise on doing those personalization experiences? So it's a matter of choice. It's a matter of control. With CI360, we typically give a complete flexibility to customers to allow them where they want to keep the data. It's a complete hybrid model that we approach typically. You can keep your data within your data centers, in your private cloud, close to your heart. You need not upload any sort of data onto SaaS's cloud for you to be able to run these CX initiatives, right? So it's a matter of compliance. It's a matter of control and choice, as I said. It's a big thing for BFSI, especially in India, how we do this, and especially this is, the data centers are based in India. So it's a big thing. Again, the last point, but not the least, how easy it is for a marketer or a CX leader without being dependent on technical folks, IT folks, with any sort of coding. It's purely on GUI. How can you use all of these capabilities and do the magic from one single place, one single GUI, right? That's where the difference is. Again, just my last slide here, why we say, we are the unanimous choice, why we are the undisputed leaders. And this is not just what we say. Of course, this is advocated by our customers globally. And you see for yourself, be it in the area of customer analytics, be it in the area of cross-channel campaign management, be it in the area of real-time interactions, right? This is all where we shine, really, really high up there compared to any of the other marketing cloud solutions or experience cloud solutions available out there in the market, right? This has also been validated by the leading analysts and the reports which you see up there, right? So, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today. This is me. Feel free to reach out to me for any feedback, any questions you may have. Here are my coordinates, and I'll be glad to engage with you and answer all of that. Thank you so much.